Welcome back to Extra Holiday Games. I'm Extra Holiday, and we've got this. We've got the death. That's what we've got. We caught a case of the death and having some trouble shaking it. But that's fine. This time, I'm sure we'll be better. Yeah. All right. So, how's it been going? I've been doing fine. Took a snow day from work today. It's pretty neat, you know. Because just the roads are awful, and there is at least a particular point on my route. Whoops, I was not meant to wall jump there. There was a particular point in, actually, I think I talked about this. I don't remember or what context or when I talked about it, but I think I talked about how there's a certain point on my commute between here and work that is particularly dangerous this time of year. I mean, it's a hill. Whoops. It's a hill. And so, you know, hill plus ice pretty much always equals danger. And that's why I didn't go to work today. Primarily. Also, I just didn't want to. But yeah, and I think I already told the story. I don't remember if it was on this series or not, of where I just had a little a friendly tussle with the barrier on that specific point in the road, because I ran into ice on my way home on another day, and I didn't want that to happen again. So yeah, that's why. Part of the reason why I am, in fact, not at work right now, or at least not leaving work right now, because normally I'd be leaving work right about now. I spent most of my day watching YouTube, is what I'm trying to say. And it's kind of awkward. I was kind of hoping to get more done today, but hey, at least I'm recording now. That's pretty great, right? And I got an episode of Bloodborne edited, so that's something. So, you know, it's not a totally wasted day off. I really feel like, though, I need to get in the habit of not kicking myself for not doing more. Because I ask myself, how much would I have to do to actually be satisfied with how I spent a day? And when I have work, it's pretty simple. It's usually like I work my 10-hour shift, and then I edit a video. And that's usually enough for me to be like, yeah, okay, I'm pretty satisfied with what I've done. But on days where I don't work, I have so many different projects that I could be working on. And I usually just spend most of the day just watching YouTube. But again, I have to ask myself, like, how much would I have to do on those days where I'm not actually going to my day job to, you know, to feel like I've done enough? And honestly, I don't know the answer. I genuinely don't know the answer. It could be something like, oh, I need to get every video I have, you know, footage for edited. Maybe that's it. Or, whoops, supposed to jump there. Or maybe it's that plus recording. Or maybe it's that plus recording plus, I don't know what else. Plus working on D&D, I guess, because that's coming up soon too, and that's another thing that I thought, like, oh, maybe I'll work on this today, and I didn't end up doing. Granted, day's not over. I still have a few hours before I ought to be going to bed for work tomorrow, tomorrow, quote unquote, after I wake up. Again, I work graveyard shifts, so it gets a little confusing. Yeah, I just don't know. I just haven't quite figured out, like, what exactly my expectations are for myself on a day like today. You know, on a night where I don't have to work. And this even applies to my normal days off, because on those days, it's like, okay, is it enough that I recorded and streamed and did some editing? Sometimes it feels like the answer is no. I feel like, and maybe this is just a grass is always greener type of statement, but I feel like it'd be easier for me to find find the answer to how much is enough if I could just focus on this stuff, you know, the recording and the editing and the making of content. Whoops, I was supposed to go to the side there. Instead of having to split my time and attention between this and the job that actually puts food on the table. Ultimately, this is just me saying, once again, that I would like to make a living off of this. I don't know. I don't know if it's the most productive thing that I say that so often, but I just want to be honest, you know? I don't want anyone going into this thinking like, oh, he's just doing it for the love of the craft, and, well, yeah, it's kind of true. I mean, there are easier ways to make a living, like, well, technically my current day job, will provide for me if I just work the full week, every week. I will make enough to at least, you know, survive in the world. But I'd never be satisfied with that. Never. That's why I have pretty thoroughly decided that no, I don't plan on making a career where I currently work. That job is a job that will sustain me until the day that I can do this for a living. And maybe that's still a long way away, but I'm going to get there eventually. And at the very least now, as opposed to when I was working my last job, at the very least now, I have the means to provide for myself if need be. You know, and that at least is a comfort to me. But yeah, if I didn't have to worry about that, then right, if I could get that from this, then I would be probably better off, I think. But hey, it's the grind, right? You know, nobody really starts off straight away with a thriving YouTube channel and an amazing number of Twitch followers and such. It just doesn't happen. You know, you gotta start somewhere. And it's never at the top. You don't start at the top. I keep doing that. I keep wall jumping because I keep pressing into the wall when I don't mean to. It's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. Things could be worse. I don't know what else to talk about, really. I haven't been doing all that much. I mean, Christmas just happened. I guess we could talk about that. It was good. It was pretty good. You know, I got everything that was on my list, which wasn't much, mind you, right? I'm at a point where I'm a grown adult with some amount of disposable income. And because I'm not trying to brag, but because I am the type of person who doesn't drink, doesn't smoke, it basically doesn't have fun. Because I am that type of person, it's relatively easy for me to save money because people don't realize how much they spend on their vices. Like alcohol and cigarettes or vape juice, I guess, if you're under the age of 30. That stuff's expensive. And because I don't have to spend money on that, I can actually save up. Which means I have some amount of disposable income, which means I can basically buy whatever I want. Like if I really, really wanted a PS5 right now, I could buy one. I don't really want one because there's nothing I really want to play on it right now. I think Elden Ring might be the first thing that I really want to play. The Demon's Souls remake or remaster was interesting to me, but it's just like, I don't feel like I need it. But yeah, I could basically buy whatever I want outside of, within reason. The more mundane things that a person would want, right? Like I can't afford a mansion, obviously. Otherwise I would probably be living in one. Actually, that's probably not the case. But I can basically afford most anything I want. So that's why my Christmas list wasn't very large this year, because what could anyone get me that I couldn't get myself, really? It's almost the trouble with adulthood is, your Christmas list gets so small. Your aunt bugs you like 2 months prior to Christmas for a list because she wants to get her shopping done early. And fun fact, what she got me wasn't even on my list. She got me, honestly, I don't mind the gift because it will help me, but she got me candles, basically. Well, I don't know what to call it, actually, but you put candle wax in it. It doesn't actually have like a wick or anything to it. It's not an actual candle, but you put candle wax in it. It's a candle warmer, I think. I think that's what you call it. But you put the wax in it, and it just uses like a little light bulb inside to heat the wax and melt it, as opposed to using a flame with a wick. And it's neat, right? It'll help combat the smell in my room, which is something that doesn't really affect me as much as it affects everyone else living with me, because I can't really smell it. On that same note, I don't really smell the candles that much either. I just have a terrible sense of smell is what it is. So ultimately it was kind of a gift for her. But I still appreciate it nonetheless, because, hey, maybe it means that I don't have to hear about how much I stink as much. That's nice. So honestly, I don't really mind that gift. But yeah, everything else on my Christmas list I got, which was like longer cables for my setup down here, for basically my recording setup, because previously, I think I had talked about this a little bit, but I had an issue when I was streaming where my cables weren't long enough for me to comfortably have my computer like on my lap while I was doing the learning streams. So I was like having to look to the side. I was either having to look to the side at the TV or look to the side at my computer. Neither of those were particularly comfortable. Whereas now that I have longer HDMI cables, I can actually put everything in a position to where it's comfortable, which is nice. If I had gone straight down, I think I would have lived. So yeah, HDMI cables, that was something on my list. I also put Volume 8 of Ruby, because I haven't seen it yet. And I mean, in the past, the reason I asked for the Blu-rays, because that's what I asked for. I asked for the Blu-ray of Ruby, is because I was living with my parents and their internet is awful. So trying to watch that on Rooster Teeth's site was I mean, I could, but it was never in full quality and it kind of sucked. And just generally, I'm a fan of actually owning pieces of media as opposed to just borrowing it from Netflix or Crunchyroll or what have you. I'm a fan of actually being able to access it actually whenever I want and not just like, see, because here's the thing. Netflix isn't going to be around forever, right? Like, I'm sorry to burst your bubble, but it's not going to be around forever. There's some service or company that's going to replace it. And then, yeah, sure, I might be able to find Ruby on that next service. Ruby's a bad example because it's not on Netflix. It's on Rooster Teeth. And I think Crunchyroll. But the general point I'm trying to make is that the show you like isn't necessarily going to be available on the internet forever. Whereas if you have a disc with that show on it, then as long as you have a player that can play that disc and a TV that can hook up to the player, or a screen of some sort, I should say, then you can watch it, and that's cool. So yeah, Ruby Volume 8, I got that. What else was on my list? I honestly can barely remember. I definitely sent a text to my parents and my aunt and my buddy Brandon because he insisted on getting me a present. Even though I told him that I probably wouldn't be getting him one. Yeah, I'm still a little confused about that, but he did. He was actually the one who got me the HDMI cables and Ruby Volume 8. My parents also got me HDMI cables, but I'm not upset that they both got me it because you can never have enough. When you're running a setup like mine, you can never have enough HDMI cables. Yeah, I can pull up the list in a sec. Probably not right now because I am in fact playing this level. As much as you might have guessed that I am not playing the level based on how I am not talking about it in the slightest, I forgot to jump there, I am playing this level. And I'll probably still be playing this level next time. But as for this episode, that's a wrap. All right, I'm gonna pull up my list.